Today I'd like to follow up on a CBC News piece that was done involving Jessa Jones, her data recovery company iPad Rehab, Apple Community Support Forums, Apple.com, and how Apple addresses data recovery and what it is they tell consumers. Long story short, if you don't have time to watch that 9-minute CBC News clip, which I highly recommend that you do, or you simply don't want to click off of this handsome face, that's single by the way, just saying, then let me recap for you as quickly as I can. On Apple's community support forums, they will tell you that data recovery is impossible. Even if you tell them that I found a company that does do it, they will tell you that that company must be scamming you out of your money if they say that they can do data recovery. When somebody posts to showcase that not only is this untrue, but posts proof and says, yes, this is clearly doable, those posts are repeatedly removed and deleted and accounts are banned. If someone simply posts anything helpful, such as telling you exactly how your device failed with the scientific, proper explanation that can be proven objectively with a microscope to be correct and not just something someone made up, if somebody just posts the truth of how a device failed, their post will be edited, and if they keep it up posting the truth, their post will be deleted. Now, the news here is that this is wrong. That if somebody is saying, hey, I would like to know how to get my data recovered, and they go to apple.com and they click on the support link at apple.com and they ask about it, it's one thing to say, we don't know how to do it, we don't know who can do it, we are not saying anything about any company who claims to do this, we give no opinion. The issue is when they say that nobody can do it, and if somebody says they can do it, they are taking your money and they are a scam. That is what is aggravating. That is what the story is about. And again, I highly suggest you watch it, as much as you'd like to focus on my handsome face, which again, just so happens to be single, I highly suggest that you watch that piece. It's very well done. Today what I'd like to do is I'd like to respond to some of the criticism of that piece that's been received, because some of that criticism is criticism that many normal people who simply may just not have all the information, who may want to have all the information, may have as well. Many people are skeptical of the news nowadays because most news comes with a narrative. I understand that most news comes with a narrative, and I understand your general skepticism to most reporting and most mainstream news outlets. I get it. So let's dig through some of this stuff together. One of the first criticisms that I read was available on Apple Insider, and seems to have completely missed the point. This criticism is criticizing something that was never stated in the CBC News piece and was never stated by Jessa. This individual is responding as if what we were saying was not, hey, we don't like when you imply that we're scam artists and that something that we do every single day in live stream is impossible to people who don't know any better, who now have no means to get their information. No, it's not that that's what's pissing us off. What's pissing us off is that you don't offer iPhone data recovery live in every Apple store, which is clearly untrue. To give you a bit of an idea here, let's just read some of this Apple Insider article. Even after contacting Apple Insider, the CBC lacks context. Shortly after the last CBC News piece about Apple service, they reached out to Apple Insider to discuss the matter. We did talk about it with them, and we know that they read our previous editorial on it. The TLDR of this is that he states that CBC doesn't really seem interested in figuring out what sets us apart, Jessa and I, from Genius Bar staff at a retail location. He brings up the point that in the last 5 years, Apple sold 1.36 billion devices. He brings up how many devices there are. He brings up the fact that it is much easier to do board swaps at a store than any sort of board repair, and he says that he's making the point that it's easier on a mass level to simply do board swaps rather than board repairs, and he says that as an exercise for the reader, hang out at an Apple store on any given Saturday at the Genius Bar evaluation table and see how many customers demand instant repair, head of the queue privileges because they have a deadline, or the data is stuck in it and it must come out for work. His criticism is that CBC seems incapable or unwilling to do this, and also seems to lack any consideration of the reality of the scale of Apple's repair effort, which entirely misses the point. He is responding to a criticism that Jessa and CBC have not issued. We are not asking them to do board-level repairs in the store. Nor is anything in that CBC News piece about the fact that Apple should offer data recovery themselves in the store. What's being done here is a sleight of hand, a straw man. That entire section of this article, of this execrable article, is responding to a criticism that was not made. And if you even want to go back to the last CBC News piece, where I noticed there was a bent pin in a connector, that is not board level repair. That does not require a microscope. That does not require high knowledge. It simply requires that you listen to your mom when she tells you, eat your carrots. It's good for your eyes. So that even when you're 30 years old like Lewis, you'll be able to see a bent pin that the Apple Store can't, and maybe bend it back with tweezers, or recommend a cable replacement rather than $2,000 replacing the entire machine. And maybe, just maybe, if you eat your vegetables and your carrots and eat your salad, you'll be able to tell the difference between a liquid damage indicator that's gone off due to humidity and a liquid damage indicator that's gone off due to widespread corrosion on the entire board. Which, by the way, there was no corrosion on that board. For everybody who likes to talk about all that liquid damage, my eyes tell me no corrosion on that board, humidity. But I digress. Aside from that point, this has no place in this article. He is making a point. Apple is too busy to offer board level repairs in store. And hey, I may even agree with you on that point. But that's not what we're arguing. We're arguing that we do not wish to be called scammers. We do not wish for factually incorrect information to continue to be posted. And if someone attempts to correct that factually incorrect information without advertising their business, stop banning them for posting factually correct information that is demonstrably supported by anybody with a basic internet connection who can watch a live stream video of Jessa repairing a board. Anybody with an internet connection, even at 144p, can head over to YouTube and watch Jessa recover phones that have been in the ocean, phones that have been in the toilet, phones that have been smashed, phones that have been part of a murder covered in blood that she gets the data from on live stream and then calls the customer. There has been a 3-year history of any time somebody makes a post like this in a forum correcting misinformation being removed. That is what is bothering us. It's okay. We don't mind being unauthorized. We don't mind the fact that we don't have their blessing. That's fine. All we are asking, stop implying that we are scammers when we have demonstrably proven that what you are saying is impossible is possible. And when we point it out, stop banning us and deleting us. Now, the next criticism is, hey, isn't that disingenuous that you're making it sound like this is something that Apple has anything to do with? I mean, it's just on Apple.com. It's just if you go to the support forum that's linked to on their website when you click support that you get this information. But that's not Apple saying it themselves. It's not like this forum is moderated by Apple. It's not like it's all volunteers, right? No. Not only are there Apple community support moderators, not only are those moderators employed by Apple, some of which employed for 10 years, but these individuals make a salary that even Bernie Sanders would be happy with. My Discord moderators do a better job of keeping my Discord from having misinformation than that, and they get paid nothing. They're probably going to ask for a raise after seeing this video. They get paid zero. Biernov, I've done nothing but buy him a microscope and a multimeter, and he has been helping people on that Discord for almost a year. People have been deleting misinformation and correcting information and been open to being corrected on misinformation, and they don't make $95,000 a year. There are several people that you can verify work for Apple that have this specific job of community manager, that are members of this forum, that are making a six-figure income, that cannot be asked to look at a YouTube link to prove that data recovery is possible. And you wonder why we're mad. At what point am I allowed to give a corporation or a human being moral agency? At what point am I allowed to have standards for the $95,000 a year employee that are at the very least equal to the standards that I have for my unpaid Discord moderators, for a third-party Discord that is not even linked to on my company website? These are the forums that are linked to when you go to apple.com and click support, the support page for the $1 trillion company. And they have lower standards for truth-seeking than my unpaid Discord moderators that are reading this shit in their underwear. People post on my forum every now and then, and they'll say, hey, Duke may say, or Dos Informaticos may say, listen, I know Lewis may do this way, but here's a better way to do it. I don't go there and go, I don't like this, delete. I don't like this, delete. I have higher standards for my own forum than they do for theirs. At what point am I allowed to expect somebody to do their job? At what salary Am I allowed to say, do your job? Bernie Sanders may say that that starts at around $15 an hour. I would say, conservatively, that at $95,000 a year, I can expect that over a 3-year time period, you check a fucking web link to see if the information that you're claiming is bullshit is actually bullshit. And I think you failed at it. And I think it is totally okay for the CBC to call that out. The next piece of criticism that I see is repair versus recovery. I've seen quite a few people mention, that's not data recovery. See, what she did is she fixed the phone. And then after she fixed the phone, she got it. That is not data recovery. You didn't recover the data. You just got the phone to work again. What? Okay, yeah, like Steve doesn't do data recovery on hard drives. He doesn't do that at all. What he does is he opens the drive, and then he messes with the firmware, and then he changes the heads, and then he adjusts the preamp, and then he does a platter swap, and then he plugs it in, and then it shows up in Windows, and you got, oh look, there's data there. Really? Really? That's how low you're willing to go. That's how pedantic you're willing to become to allow yourself to continue riding Tim Cook's cock. That is how much you are willing to stretch logic, philosophy, and reason to get to the point where you can say that taking a phone that is dead, that somebody else says they cannot get the data from, to work to the point where you can get the data out of it, put it on a USB stick, and give it to the customer. That's not fucking data recovery anymore. This is nonsense. You know it's nonsense. I didn't recover the phone. I just replaced a bunch of chips and powered it up with something, and then I got the data off of it. I didn't recover data from a hard drive. I just did a platter swap and head swap and firmware swap, and then I plugged it in and I got the data. I don't masturbate. I've never masturbated because I've been told that it can make you go blind. I don't masturbate. I just lie down at home, open up my computer, double-click an MP4 file. 2 naked people show up on my screen. And maybe I touch myself. And maybe after 20 to 30 minutes, some stuff pops out. But I don't masturbate! Come on. No, we're not fucking telepathically reading the NAND. We are getting the phone to power on again just enough so that you could type in a passcode and then extract the data. Which is, to most people, data recovery. Before you didn't have your data, now you do. That's data recovery. Maybe all I had to do was swim to the bottom of the ocean and then pick up the phone and then power it on again. You weren't able to swim that far down. Still data recovery. I don't care if it's not your definition of data recovery. Before you didn't have your data. Now you do. You paid for data. I gave you data. Data recovery. What bothers me above all else is the gaslighting. The idea that, oh yeah, I have no idea what you're angry at. There's nothing really to be angry at. I mean, I don't get it. What? Like, yeah, I mean, you just must do these things. You're just angry at Apple for views. Even though your video ratio is something like 30-1, educational to aggravated at something Apple did. You just make this stuff up because it's convenient for you. No. We read articles like this where they defend individuals that say that if you give money to somebody like myself or Jessa, you might as well throw it away. That we are lying, that we are scamming people by offering these services. And then you say out the side of your fucking mouth, non-Apple retail repair shops serve an important purpose. Or they say things like, board swaps at retail locations are far quicker for the company, require less skilled workers at retail, which can be paid less than a Rossman. So you're willing to say that we have a place and that we have skills. But you will defend the people that say that if they give us money, they might as well be burning it or throwing it away. And you wonder why people in our industry are fucking mad at you. Even after speaking for an hour to Alex at CBC, that the CBC's sample of one service contact is hardly due diligence, when he was told by the individual at CBC that did the report that they had numerous sources. You wonder when you say things like that, this is just a volunteer moderated forum. It has nothing, I know it's on Apple.com, but it has nothing to do with them, really. And then we find out, oh yeah, the moderators that are leading the posts that are saying we're not a scam are paid $90,000 a year by the company. You wonder why people who do this for a living, who have to deal with customers, who every day walk in the door thinking we're a scam because of shit they read on the internet on Apple.com or heard at the Genius Bar, are mad at you. I wonder how that happened. Crazy thing. Just fell out of the sky. We're just mad. We weren't on our pills that day. Ha ha. At what point is it justifiable that I become angry at somebody trying to shove a spiked dildo up the ass of the credibility of our industry. At what point? It's one thing 10 years ago. Here's the thing. 10.5 years ago, when I was wearing my basketball shorts because I didn't have money for anything nicer, and I didn't have a store, and I didn't have a business license, and I didn't have the experience, I didn't have the reviews, and I didn't have the video showing that I knew what I was doing, if somebody said, yeah, giving money to that person, you might as well just burn it. You might as well just throw it away. If they say they can fix that board, if that shady person says they can fix that board, they're lying. Fine. I'm not happy with it, but I understand and respect why somebody would think that. But if after thousands of videos, over 300 of which are live streams, showing you that what they said is impossible is possible, but if after getting hundreds of Yelp reviews, thousands of Google reviews, thousands of customer testimonials, thousands of videos, 12 employees, a business license that after 7 years has had 0 complaints filed against it. Look it up at the New York City Department of Consumer Affairs. 12 employees, a store with employees, and worldwide recognition for being best in our field, to the point where I've had students from over 10 different countries pay thousands of dollars to come here just to learn how to do what we do. If at this point I still cannot question the narrative that you would better be off burning your money than giving it to us to service customers that you know damn well you don't want to service, at what point am I allowed to be angry? When I'm 40? When I'm 60? When I've serviced 1 million customers? When I have 2 million reviews? When I have 30 million YouTube subscribers? Tell me at what point I am allowed to be angry at being called a scam artist. Tell me at what point I am allowed to be angry at posts being deleted that correct individuals that say that we are scammers. At what point is it justified? At what point would you consider it personally okay for me to preserve my livelihood's dignity? At what point am I allowed to be agitated at Apple using the power of the government and customs and intellectual property and trademark law to just shove a big spiked dildo up the ass of anybody that wants to know how to replace a backlight fuse, how to replace a battery, or how to fix their own shit when you say that you don't want to? Fuck you.
Fucking American Yankee. You're gonna die out of cancer, I promise.